I welcome into another episode of the Lab presented by Wolverine. Really excited for our next guest, Michigan wide receiver Tyler Morris, coming off a game where you had 3 catches, 38 yards, and a smooth touchdown, man. How you feeling? How you doing? I know it's a big week this week. Played number 1 Oregon last week, now playing a top 10 ranked Indiana. How you doing, Tyler?
I'm good. Feeling good about this week, and excited for this week's game against a good team.
Take me back to last week because look, there's a few ways we can hit this. Obviously, the passing game has struggled this year. Like we can't beat around the bush. But now Davis is back, and he's going to be the starter going forward. And he looked for you down in the red zone. You had some nice plays. Maybe could you talk about what last week meant for you as a receiver, knowing what you're capable of, but you really just haven't had the opportunities.
Yeah, I think last year, just for the whole room, just showed like, okay, we can, we was getting open, we can make plays, and kind of just I guess gave us a little confidence boost that these last 3 games of the year, we can get it done. So
How do you stay grounded? Because there's obviously a lot that goes into football. We could talk about the blocking aspect in a second, but man, a lot of wide receivers, their moods are dependent on their stats. And I think that there's nothing wrong with that too. But I'm curious how you've stayed grounded this year through some of the challenging times.
yeah, I mean, obviously, like you said, as a receiver, you want stats like that's that's what you kind of are a receiver for. But at the end of the day, if that's just how the season is going or a certain game or whatever, like you gotta, you can't let that completely ruin you. Obviously, nobody's gonna be, 100% happy, when they're not producing. But you got to go out and do the best you can every play, whether that's blocking or running out, whatever it is, and just trying to stay positive through it because. As soon as you start getting negative, that's it makes you play worse. So then once that pass play does come up, you already in a negative headspace, and you just can't let those things tear you down.
Yeah, I mean the touchdown catch you had, like you got to be locked in, right? Like that's that you lose vision on it briefly, and it's a fingertip catch. So I think that's a great example of it. You mentioned the blocking though, and I think the real ball knowers and the real film watchers, they know really you can tell a lot about a team by the way wide receivers block. Can you kind of talk about the importance for you and the position group as a whole to be involved in the running game?
Yeah, I mean, there's no secret. We, our running team, and really for us, we just see it as a mentality. As receivers, I guess you don't get to go hit people as much, but that's our chance. That's how we see it. It's just to go block, and that's our chance to just, be physical in the game, and whenever we can put our hands on somebody, that's what we're looking forward to doing.
And that's the difference too between like a 10-yard run and a
Yeah.
20, 30-yard run is receiver blocking. Like, does it get you guys fired up? I mean, how can you maybe talk about the how would you compare the emotion of a big catch or having a key block on like a push crack that springs a run?
Yeah, I mean, as a receiver, obviously a big catch is obviously, always going to be more exciting, but it's great when, a lot of times you're going to get a safety or, blocking the corner on the end, or, sometimes we got to end up getting the linebackers and,
Yeah.
just, going and digging them out. And then, once you see them pop and, you see the running back going past you, it's a lot of excitement knowing that, you were kind of that touchdown block is, what it comes down to a lot for us is getting that last guy on the second level, giving the running backs more room to run.
I always feel like the respect from the teammates is big too, because like that at the end of the day, nothing's better than getting
Yeah.
respect from your teammates. And when you go watch the tape, like that shows up on tape, and that's obviously huge. Want to ask you about Davis and just your perspective on kind of, I mean, obviously his whole journey too, like his life to get where he is. What has it been like kind of observing him go through some of the ups and downs, excuse me, the challenges of the season, and now playing some really good ball the past 2 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, I guess nobody would be happy with, having a starting spot and then losing it. But the thing with him is that he never changed how he went about practice or just his day to day. He kind of like there was nothing that I ever saw him where he, had a different mood or went about things differently. And I think that's kind of just him as a person. Like you said, we all know his story, so that's this journey of coming back and getting the starting spot is, by far not the hardest thing he's been through in his life. So, I just think that's him as a person, and he's always ready to keep fighting.
I just think it's it's been unbelievable to watch that dude carry himself. And I think it's a double edged sword, being the quarterback or really any player at
Right.
Michigan. It comes with high expectations, which is a good thing. It can also be a bad thing. But you can't do anything but like show up to work every day. And today's episode is brought to you by Top House Peanut Sauce. It's the third condiment your kitchen, tailgate, and cookout have been missing. Ketchup and mustard may be classics, but Top House brings that next level flavor you didn't know you needed. With rich, creamy peanut goodness and the perfect balance of sweetness and spice, it's a whole new umami experience. Ready to make Top House the third condiment on your table? Order yours now at www.tophousefoods.com. And so you mentioned a big week, man, a big week. And a few weeks ago, Colston was asked, like, "Hey, man, you guys aren't playing for a national title this year, so what are you playing for?" And he said, "We have a chance to ruin some people's seasons." And right now, Indiana is the Cinderella story of the Big Ten. Everybody's talking about him. What does this week mean for you in the locker room?
I think it's the same thing that Coaston said. I think that's what the team's bought into right now, and yeah, the goals have changed since what it was in the beginning of the year. But we actually just talked about it after practice. We brought it up like this is a chance to ruin the team season. And that's how we see the rest of the season going, and just we can't get to the goals that I think we had at the beginning of the season, but we got a chance to ruin some other seasons and play our best ball the rest of the way.
Feel like you guys haven't played your best game yet either. I think that's the other exciting thing is it's like, man, there's got to be some curiosity to what it looks like if you play 4 quarters of team football, right?
Yeah, I mean, because feel like we've had times where it's we've been moving the ball and the defense been looking good, but I don't think we've had a game yet where we have been just held strong through the whole game. So it's exciting when we get those moments, but it's something that we want to put all together and just have a game where we play good the whole time, and that's what we're striving for.
I'm curious too for Sherrone, just the conversation for Coach Moore has just been he's been beloved by his players since he was a tight end coach when he first walked on campus. What does he mean to you? What has he meant to you guys in his leadership this year?
He's been great, and I think he's just a real Michigan man. For my time being here, to him being the head coach now, I don't think anything's really changed with the culture. I think that he's heavy on that, always talking to us, and he's just fun to be around. He's just a coach that's you can laugh and joke with, but when it's time to work, he's gonna be right there with you. When it's time to get on you, he gonna let you know. And there's just a certain way, as that things are expected to be done around here.
We were talking a little bit pre-show, like about kind of the art of the wide receiver. Uh, the position. I feel like now with social media, like you got the Netflix series
Yeah.
about wide receivers. I just feel like what I'm trying to say is there's been an emphasis on the art of the position. And I feel like that's led to guys really elevating their game. Like some of the routes you see, some of the way dudes are separating. It's more public facing in a sense in recent years. Kind of what do you think goes into great wide receiver play, and maybe who are some of the guys you study at the next level?
Um, it's I love receiver just because there's so much different things you need to do to be able to create separation. And especially I'd say with a guy like me, I'm not the biggest or fastest, so just trying to take little things and understanding that you're not running a line on paper. That's just
Yeah.
never gonna work out like that on the field. So just understanding leverage, understanding too, just what the defense is trying to do with their leverage or what covers they'll be in or what they're trying to protect, and then also just getting into their head about how they think about things, because what I've learned more recently this year is just how they try to think what we're thinking, and not
Mhm.
just stuff like that where it's always just a game going into just the route and just a lot of little things that you gotta plan out, and just hope that's gonna go right, and just attacking anything that they're protecting just to get open. Um, And I say my favorite person, even though he's a bigger guy, but Keenan Allen, somebody I've watched a lot of. Just he's not, again, like I said, he's uh he's not super fast, but if you watch him, like, he's just smooth. Does a lot of little things to help himself get open. And then also just smaller guys I like to watch: Tyler Lockett, Antonio Brown, Odell has always had some really good routes. So
He's got great feel too. That's the other
yeah,
thing. Like Keenan Allen is how do you like his feel when he's running those choice routes? He's probably the best choice route runner in the league. So he knows coverages and feels coverages. What can you share with us, about how you get to the place where you can kind of anticipate and feel different coverages?
yeah. I mean, I think it's kind of what I said earlier, or like a little bit of what I was saying earlier, is just understanding, their leverage, what they're trying to protect. So, you line up out there and you're kind of seeing, where the nickel's at, where the corner's at, how's the safety playing. And then as you get into the route, you kind of slowly just take in information of, what's changing. And, sometimes if you break out, now you got to get a quick peek to the corner, see if they stayed in cloud and understand if you can work out or just sit. So, there's a lot of different things that go into it. But overall, I think you kind of just it's really just finding the open spot, like with those choice routes, just understanding where the soft spot's going to be open. So,
How about just a few more for you here? Just what what's your week like look like? I just kind of want to give you a chance to talk about your process and like, how many jugs are you catching on a week? Do you have a number you like to hit?
I try. It depends on, or I go by day. I normally do 75 right after practice, and then depending on if I have time, just for homework or whatever else I got going on. If somebody's throwing, I'll catch some over the shoulder balls. And then there's also like treatment, trying to get the body right after practices, and just trying to get home and get everything I need to take care of first, so I can be ready for the next day.
I think it's the reason I wanted to ask you is just for our viewers and listeners to just know, like, man, what you basically are just saying, like that equates to including practice, like thousands of repetitions
Yeah.
a week, and that comes down to you can then take advantage of that opportunity when you get a target down in the end zone and make a really tough and a big time catch in a big moment. So I think our fans can appreciate that. Probably let you know down in the comments. I wanted to kind of end with a fun question. I know you were high school teammates with JJ. What was he like as a leader back in Illinois?
I would say I mean, similar to how he was here. It's just I think obviously back then it was a little different because I mean, he was like the number 2 quarterback in the country, something like that. But he, was always real humble, but always spoke up when he needed to. People, always wanted to listen to what he had to say. Um, but also it was just real humble. Like, you would never know it if you didn't know him. But even like I'm trying to think, when I went to go visit the school in the 8th grade, I ended up getting paired with him to go through the day with him. And I didn't know who he was at all.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the guys were like, you know who you with? I'm like, oh no, like, I don't know. They showed me a ranking, and it had him number 2. So I thought he was number 2 in the state. I'm like, okay, pretty good. And I'm starting to see all these different states, and realized it was a country. And then I'm like, oh, okay, like he's real good. But you would never pick that up by him. So he was just a real humble dude. A great leader, and just somebody that always had the team ready to fight with him.
It's funny because he's humble, but he's also a competitor too, right? Like, and I get
Yeah.
that same energy out of you, man. So I figured that'd be fun to ask and curious. All right, last one for me here. Keys to the game, Indiana going on the road, top 10 matchup. This team's red hot. What are the few one, two, three different things the team needs to execute upon to get a win?
I think really it's a lot of it's just what we've been focusing on, a lot of the little things. We can't make small mistakes. We got to get the run game going this week. We got to carry over from last week, the pass game. I think Dave played real well last week, and I'm betting that he's gonna play good this week. So we're gonna need plays made by everybody. And really just we're gonna need the team this week to stay together as a whole, and just play a strong game, play physical, play detailed. Because this is a good team we're playing.
Yeah, I think they're one of the best run defenses in the conference, and their pass defense is a little bit more vulnerable too. But like you said, you got to get the run game going, so then you can get into play action.
Right.
They force a lot of negatives, like they're
Yeah.
towards the top of the conference in sacks and TFLs. So avoiding those negative plays is going to be critical. But it's one of those games where it just energetically what it could mean for the team is huge. You can kind of feed off the emotion of taking it from them. So
Right.
I can't wait to watch, man. And really just thanks so much for your time. Thanks for joining us for a little bit here. I know the fans appreciate it. I know it's been a challenging season, compared to last year, but the hard work, how hard you guys play every week, how tough you guys are, and the effort you give, it does not go unnoticed. So I appreciate it. I know our fans appreciate it, man.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me on here.
All right, man. Anytime. Yep. Good luck this weekend, Tyler. And thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Lab presented by Wolverine. We will see you next week. Go Blue.
All right. I see you. Go Blue.